Hi ladies, today I wanted to take a couple minutes to talk to you ladies about a very special herb that I think you'll love to hear about. This herb is called Rehmannia. If you prefer reading content or something about it rather than like watching the video, you can check out yesterday's post on either Instagram or Facebook. I went into detail about it, so there's lots of great information there. But for those of you that really love to engage and to watch the video, then this video is going to be hopefully extremely helpful, especially for those of you who are really struggling with energy. So there's so many herbs out there that it can be really hard to understand which is the right herb. And I find the most popular herbs that a lot of women who are coming to me for when they're asking questions are adaptogenic herbs. So often we see holy basil, ashwagandha, rhodiola, which are great adaptogenic herbs. So these herbs have unique and just great compounds that will help your body cope and adapt to stress. So let's say you've been in a state of just, high stress for like, let's say the last couple months, and your cortisol is really high. These herbs, depending on which one you choose, can help ground you, regulate your cortisol. Or if you're feeling a little bit burnt out from like, let's say the last 3-6 months of like a heavier workload, or let's say you've just had like a baby and you're not sleeping as great, there are herbs that can really help to gently lift your energy without that heavy stimulating effect, like caffeine that would essentially over time cause like a harsher effect on your body. So herbs, like adaptogenic herbs, are amazing, but for the women who are like at a point where like these herbs aren't working, they're constantly feeling like their body is just crashing on them, like energy wise, especially around like 10 o'clock in the morning, like that midday, or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They feel like they're having a hard time going 4 to 5 hours in between their meals. If you feel like you're constantly needing to eat to like energize your body, like naturally your body should be able to go easily around 5 hours in between your meals, and your adrenals are going to play a really big role in helping your body to adapt to the gap in between your meals by helping your body to release adrenaline, to help your body to signal to your body to naturally release your own stored glucose and whatnot. However, if you're not adapting well, this is a sign that your adrenals are burnt out and they're not functioning at their full capacity. Now, for the women who are, let's say for the last 5 years or so, you haven't been sleeping well, maybe you have a couple younger kids, and then on top of that, you're running a business and just financial statuses, maybe you have a mortgage and there's just a lot of stress, or you're busy and you're constantly on the go. So you're drinking more coffee than you would like, or grabbing takeout. All of these factors can cause stressors that are either physical, mental, emotional, and just really depleting your body. So after feeling depleted over a point of not just like 6 months, I'm talking like a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, like these are the women that I love to introduce Rehmannia to. Because Rehmannia is going to not just help your body adapt to like a temporary stress, but it's going to help your body rebuild your adrenals. So that way your body can properly communicate, fire the proper hormones, synthesize the proper hormones, and just help your body to adapt and work in a beautiful flow. So your adrenals, they are a part of your endocrine system. So your endocrine system consists of a variety of different organs, and they're all releasing hormones that are essentially communicating to your body what is happening in the moment and what your body is needing in order to stabilize. So when we look at the endocrine system, we have your hypothalamus, your pituitary glands, and then of course your adrenal glands, the pancreas, the ovaries, the testes. These are all constantly releasing hormones to communicate what's happening. So the adrenals specifically, we typically I find the easiest way to really relate this is to like your fight or flight, like your stress response. So let's say you were walking down the street and a car just swerved around the corner and almost hit you. Your adrenals are going to fire up. They are going to kick in really fast, releasing adrenaline to give you that instant like boost of like alertness. That's going to help your blood vessels to expand. within about a couple of minutes or maybe a bit longer, you'll see your body releasing cortisol, your adrenal specifically releasing cortisol. So often we think of the adrenal glands as our fight or flight mode. So if you, let's say for instance, let's say you just had a baby and you're waking up all throughout the night, your adrenals are going to be working overtime to really compensate and helping you cope and adapt and staying energized, focused, alert, so you don't fall asleep, whether you're driving or in the middle of the night when you're trying to nurse. Let's say you have a work deadline and your boss is like, this has to be done by the end of the day. And suddenly you're like, oh my gosh, like you're in like a panic mode. You're trying to get things done. You're rushing, your body is just like really like overstimulated. This is your adrenal glands helping you to really give you the fuel to get things done, to focus more clearly. So over a prolonged period of time, they become what is commonly known as burnt out. And this is where we start to see not only like a depletion in our energy, where we feel exhausted, we feel like we're constantly having to push to get through the day. We feel like we constantly need caffeine just to think clearly, to get through the day. So at this point, like I said, we want to really nourish the adrenals. But on top of that, our adrenals are also doing so much more than just producing cortisol and adrenaline. Your adrenals are also producing your mother hormone known as pregnenolone. So pregnenolone is the precursor to producing cortisol, but it's also the precursor to producing DHEA, which is your anti-aging hormone. It's also the precursor to synthesizing your sex hormones. So think of estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. So if the adrenals are burnt out, they can't perform optimally, you're gonna have a hard time. You'll start to notice, number one, your cortisol going out of whack. So normally, first thing in the morning, your adrenals are going to release cortisol. Cortisol will spike about 30 to 60 minutes after you wake up. This is what gets you up in the morning. This is what gets you out of bed. If you feel like it is impossible to get out of bed, if you feel like you're dragging your feet or it's just so hard, that right there is a sign that your circadian rhythm, your cortisol rhythm is out of sync. It is, chances are your adrenals have been working overtime and it needs some support. Also at nighttime, naturally we wind down. Our body wants to start producing and releasing melatonin to get you to feel relaxed, a bit sleepy, to help you like really sleep deeply. When our cortisol is out of whack from our adrenals being burnt out or just overused essentially, or having to like be overworked, we start to see like an energy spike in the evening. This is when cortisol is being pumped at the wrong time. So essentially, we want to make sure that our adrenals are being given the nourishment and the support that they need. And like I said, this is where Rehmannia really comes in and shines. So Rehmannia has a couple different compounds that make it really shine. It's not that there isn't any other herbs that contain these compounds. It's just the concentration within Rehmannia and how it specifically is directed towards the adrenal glands. So we see polysaccharides is one compound that it's really rich in. And then we see glycosides and then iridoids. So these are the polysaccharides are like fuel for the adrenal tissues. So the adrenal glands are very metabolically demanding. So think of like a high intensity workout versus let's say like a low resistant weight workout. So during a high intensity, like your body is like, you're not breathing all deeply, like it's more like a shallow breath. You're doing a ton of cardio, you're jumping around, your body is really getting like exerted. It's using up a lot of energy. Well, something versus like a low intensity weights workout where you can go slower, lift a bit heavier, but you're breathing more deeply. There's a different level of energy that's required. So the high intensity, this is why I tell women during your follicular phase and your ovulatory phase, when your energy levels are naturally really high, your body does really well with this. But when your energy levels dip, you want to do like the lower intensity workouts, like the weight training. So when it comes to your adrenals, think about like the high intensity. It's always requiring high demands of just nourishment. So the polysaccharides come in and they really, it's like sugar for them. It's like fuel for them. And it really just helps to give them like the raw materials that they need to perform and to function and to feel nourished and to come back to life. Once the adrenals have their source of nourishment, they can then start performing optimally. So this is where we see pregnenolone being produced optimally. And then when pregnenolone is produced optimally, we see cortisol is being produced optimally. One thing I didn't mention too is we have an outer layer and an inner layer to the adrenals. So the outer layer, which is the adrenal cortex, that's where we see the production of pregnenolone, cortisol, DHEA, and so forth. And then the inner layer, the adrenal medulla, this is where we see things like adrenaline and then noradrenaline being produced. So for instance, when I see a client having a really hard time going like, beyond 3 hours in between her meals, where she feels like she's so exhausted and she needs food to kind of get her energy back up, that is a sign right there that her body isn't adapting. It's not producing adrenaline properly. Her adrenals are most likely really burnt out and it's not producing them effectively to communicate to her body to release stored glucose. Instead, her body's relying on instant glucose from like an external source. So we have these different layers to our adrenals. And when they are given the raw materials, the nourishment that they need, they can start to perform. And this is when we start to see our hormones balancing out. Because remember, pregnenolone is the mother hormone that our adrenals produce, which are going to synthesize your other hormones like estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. When we are in fight or flight mode, our body is going to prioritize using pregnenolone to create more cortisol. So this is where we can see that pregnenolone steal, where instead of pregnenolone producing progesterone and proper amounts of estrogen, we start to see not enough progesterone in our body, where we end up with higher estrogen. And then we start to see higher cortisol because our body is requiring it for survival. Remember, you need to get out of bed first thing in the morning. Your body will always prioritize survival before reproduction. And then, so yeah, essentially when we can really nourish the adrenals with something like Rehmannia, and then also add it in combination to something like holy basil or ashwagandha or rhodiola. Keep in mind, rhodiola is something that most women will want to use for no more than like 3 months. Something like ashwagandha could be, it doesn't give you as much as that energy hit as rhodiola, but it's something that could be used more longer term. So this is when you want to work with someone to know exactly what herbs to combine it with, how long to incorporate them for, but overlapping them and combining them together where you have now this like deeper adrenal nourishment support in combination to a herb like an adaptogenic herb to really support your system in having some natural energy in the meantime without having to rely on coffee or without having to really push yourself to get through the day. And also when it comes to Rehmannia, you can get it in an alcohol tincture form, but just know that the alcohol tincture form, it doesn't extract the polysaccharides the way that essentially are like in the highest concentration. So you'll have a lot of your other nutrients like the glycosides and the iridoids, which are going to really provide a beautiful amount of like oxidative stress management. It's going to help to once again repair and to just nourish your adrenals. But for those polysaccharides, for like the deeper nourishment, that's where you want to look at getting the root and then making a decoction. So this is where you would you would mix it with some water, bring it to a boil, let it simmer for like 20 to 30 minutes, and then have that a couple times throughout the day for maybe a couple months to really bring that life back into your adrenals. What else do I want to say here? I feel like there was something else I was going to say. I feel like, well, you guys right now have a lot of information. If you're trying to digest this and you have some questions and you're not really sure where to go, reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. Right now, I have a phenomenal special going on for the month of April. So I have my spring series, Beyond Weight Loss. I get a ton of women still coming to me for weight loss. So it essentially is the core foundation of my signature course. It combines basically my signature course, A Woman's Secret Code, where you are going to learn how to sync your life, your workouts, your diet, and your business with your hormone cycle to prevent burnout and to really help you just to really breathe life back into your body. And like I said, to prevent burnout, to get your hormones regulated. And then we go in even deeper. We get your blood work. We will start to get you your personalized food plan where you can start regulating your blood sugar levels. Because at the end of the day, regulating your blood sugar levels is so essential for reducing inflammation, for regulating your hormones. Because if you're eating in a way that is dysregulating your blood sugar, if you chronically have high glucose levels, you're going to have a lot of inflammation, and then you are going to add stress on your adrenals. Your body will be constantly producing a lot of cortisol to adapt to the stress, or to deal with the stress, I should say. And then on top of that, that's where you can also run into the pregnenolone steal, where you end up with either too much estrogen or too little progesterone. Anyway, so for those of you, like I said, there's a bit more of a focus on weight loss, but we're still getting your blood work. We're regulating your blood sugar. You're going to learn, like I said, how to sync your life and your business and everything with your hormone cycle, so you can really just expand your capacity to create, to lead, to sell, and then overall just, like I said, being able to show up every single day feeling like you are living in your full capacity. And then we go deep into herbs. So we have a unique module called Herbal Alchemy. This is where we go into all different types of herbs that are unique for your gut health, herbs unique for sleeping. So if you are someone that is really struggling with sleep, once again, Rehmannia is a great way to really rebuild your adrenals. But something that gives you more instant results would be like adding something like passion flower or California poppy seed to really strengthen the deep sleep cycles in between the REM cycles, so your body can actually start to properly repair and recover itself. So we go deep into herbs that are really unique and going to be beneficial for you and where you are at. So if you have any questions about this, you can always reach out to me. I do have a phenomenal promo where when you sign up with a friend, you save a lot. You get a really great savings. And then if you want to add, I also have the gut microbiome testing right now on promo, which you can get for about 25% off when you get it as a standalone service, or you get 50% off when you add it to the Beyond Weight Loss Spring Series. Anyways, I hope you ladies feel like you've been given a ton of information. I hope it hasn't been too much. And if it is, if you have any questions, just like I said, reach out to me, comment down below. That is what I'm here for. And then in the meantime, if you ladies are not on my newsletter, I'll post that down below. I'm going to start sending out weekly newsletters. So far, it's been monthly, where you guys can get my free Ambitious Women's Wellness Planner. This is going to really help you to just anchor in your wellness goals, your rituals, your routines, help you to sync your cycle. You can print out each phase of your cycle and then just kind of slide it into like each week, so you understand what's happening with your body, where your hormones are at, your brain chemistry. So just a great way to help you just start syncing in a way that feels really comfortable, and just to help you, like I said, stay on track, and just in alignment with your health and your wellness goals and your business goals. Anyways, I'll let you ladies go here, and I will talk to you later. Bye.